Folks, today we're going to make this delicious dish. It's worth your time. Today I am going to make some Texas home-style pinto beans. This is the way we like to do it here, folks. I grew up on pinto beans made exactly this way. It's delicious, and it's something that if you haven't had them this way, you really need to try this. Folks, this is an easy recipe to do. But there's a few little tips and tricks that I kind of want to tip you off to. And that's going to be, when you're making beans and you're pouring out your bag of beans to soak them to begin with, because we're not going to be using canned beans or anything like that. We're going to be using dry beans. And when you pour those out, you want to just sift through the beans gently to see if there's any small stones in the bottom. Now, somebody the other day asked me on my channel, how long has it been since you found a stone in your beans? And I told him about 3 months ago. Now that was a month back that I had that short conversation on my channel. And so it's been about 4 months now. I went through the bag that I poured out today, last night, and checked it. There were no stones in it. But folks, it does occasionally happen, and you don't want to bite down on something that's going to hurt your teeth. So just look gently through the bottom of the pan where you pour those out. Sometimes you find them, sometimes you don't, and that's that. For our recipe, there's going to be some vegetables in this, as well as our spices in the beans, and it's something that comes out great. So let me show you my recipe, the ingredients we're going to use, how I put it together, and folks, this is a good batch of beans. Let's go make them. Come on. Okay, let me introduce you to the ingredients for this dish. Now, first off, it started last night. I broke out some pintos and gave them a good wash, left them soaking in water. So now I have this going on right here. Now, folks, they've gotten nice and big, and they're looking exactly the way they should before cooking. And that's what we like to do. This makes a much better pinto bean if you start from dry. The only way to get better than this is if you're picking them off of the vine fresh. I've had them like that, and they're delicious. Now, in addition to your beans, and this is, by the way, 1 pound, I'm going to be using about a ½ pound of bacon. Whatever kind of bacon suits your fancy, folks, that's what you want to use. Also, put some chilies in there. Now, if you don't like it spicy, you don't want it as hot as jalapeno, go ahead and just use something mild. Go milder like a poblano, or milder than that even, and go to, something like maybe a bell pepper. You get that nice peppery flavor. An onion is almost always a must when cooking beans because they just pair together beautifully. A little garlic is always nice to have in there. I'm going to be adding some bay leaf and some cumin and paprika to make this just a banging good dish. Folks, this is pinto beans, Texas style. Let's get it done. Folks, before getting started on this recipe, after you've soaked those beans, go ahead and rinse them off. Get rid of this soaking water, get some fresh water down in here, and we're going to cook this up. This is really good, but don't use that soak water because it has, there's some chemicals in there that are going to cause flatulence, and you don't need any extra gas, I'm sure. Now, folks, I have my beans already rinsed and in fresh water. It's time to turn my attention here. I'm going to fine dice the chilies, the onion. Now, this garlic, all we have to do is just break the cloves loose, remove the scab from the bottom, and crush them and throw them in the pot. They will break down quite nicely as it cooks, all right? So you don't have to do any special prep there. This is easy enough. Get busy chopping. Now, folks, I am busy working, dicing my vegetables, but I wanted to mention to you, if you wanted to remove the heat and the seeds from a jalapeno, get you a spoon. It's all that is. When you take out that core, you've just removed 90% of the heat of a jalapeno. And don't compare it to a jalapeno that's been pickled, because what happens in the pickling process, the capsaicin washes out of this part and it washes into that part, making that green meat hotter. But when they're fresh, this right here just removes the heat. Now, folks, look at this. I've got my diced onion and my diced chilies down in here. My garlic is already crushed. It's ready to go in there. And then I'll add a little more water, spices, and we're going to get this up and cooking. But next, I think I need to cut up that bacon. Now, folks, I've got out, about half of that bacon you saw there. So this is going to be about 1 pound or just slightly less. And so what I've got here, this is thick sliced bacon, and I've got, I think, like 7 slices of it. All right, so that should give you some idea of what to look for. I'm going to take all of this apart, cut it up, throw it in there. And the pieces, how big you cut it, is really dependent upon you, all right? I like to make them a little more bite-sized. So in the pot, just get it all in there, folks. Now, folks, once I get my bacon in the pot, I'm ready to season it up with my bay, cumin, and paprika. Get that down in the pot, get it all mixed together. Add a little extra water until the water's covering everything. And that way you got plenty of juice to go with them beans, because that's important. Okay, let's get some heat under there. Now, folks, I got my heat under this, coming up in temperature, a little steam starting. Keep it covered. When it comes to a boil, lower the temperature to a low and let it cook for about an hour. Test the beans at that point. I want to mention something. Salt. Do not salt your beans until after the hour of cooking, okay? At that point, if you want to add salt, you can. If you put it in there now, it's going to keep your beans tough. They won't soften the way they're supposed to. Leave the salt out until the end of cooking. Just that simple. The quantity of everything that I used today, we started with 1 pound of dry pintos. Soak these overnight. 1 medium onion, any color of onion you want. Today I used red, but it could have been yellow or white. It all works. On your chilies, use 1 large bell pepper or 2 small poblanos, maybe 1 large poblano. I'm going to be using 5 medium-sized jalapenos, and fine dice your chili along with that onion. On the garlic, anywhere from 2 to 4 cloves of garlic, depending on your tastes. The bacon, I recommend anywhere from 1/2 to 1 pound of bacon for this dish. If you like lots of meat in your beans, go with the pound. Otherwise, pare it down a little to 1/2. 1 bay leaf is almost always more than sufficient. Unless you're going to be doing a short cook, you might want to use 2, but 1 is normally going to be enough for you. On that cumin, be careful with that, folks. It'll overwhelm a dish real quick. So anywhere from, 2 to 3 teaspoons at most on the cumin. I recommend about 2. And on the paprika, you can just let it have that. Paprika is nice and mild, and it has a great flavor. So that, I recommend you use about 2 tablespoons. You can go as much as 3 tablespoons on it if you want. Now, folks, I have simmered this up for a total of about 1.5 hours. At the 1 hour mark, I opened it up, stirred it real well, added some salt. Came back in 15 minutes later, tasted it, added more salt to correct the seasoning to the flavor I wanted. And then I tasted it again at the end of that last 30 minutes of cooking, and it was just spot on perfect. So I like what I have here. I cool it down for 10 minutes after I turn off the burner, and after that, your beans are ready to go, folks. That's a delicious pot right there. Let's look at this. Look at that. Gorgeous, gorgeous pot of beans. Can't wait to enjoy these. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that right there, that's a bowl of beans. That's what I've been looking forward to right there. Good one. Hey, look, when you try the recipe, you're gonna know what I mean. It's really, really delicious, really worth your time. It's so simple, and this one's inexpensive too. You're not gonna pay a fortune to fix this dish, all right? And by the way, I've got a pot back here that'll easily feed 8 to 10 people. It's a lot of beans, all right? So 1 pound of beans goes a long ways. It's many servings. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Do me a favor, look down below in that description box. There's some links there. Those links are going to take you to other places that tell you about me. There's other YouTube websites. There is S.A.Trotter.com. There's my Facebook, you know, there's my Twitter. There's all of that going on down there. And it might open your eyes to my world a little bit, if you're interested. If you want merchandise, very soon, Texas Cooking Today merchandise will be on sale at S.A.Trotter.com. And Texas Cooking Today is now a project of S.A.Trotter.com. Well, hold it. S.A.Trotter Arts, LLC. Right there. Let me say that the right way. Thanks for watching this, folks. Please enjoy your beans and have a good day. Bye-bye.